This is North Africa. Who are the North African countries? Definitely these countries, and maybe including these countries. On the surface, these North African countries appear as your run-off-the-mill Arab kebab country in need of some serious American freedom. But digging down further, North Africans are kind of not Arab enough to be Arab, not dark skin enough to be a generic African, and maybe look passable as a Southern European. Being located in the southern bits of the Mediterranean Sea, the North African countries have a long history of being an integral part of the Mediterranean world, all the way back to the Phoenicians, Greeks, and the Phoenician spawns. Then, Numidia and Mauritania came along, indigenous Berber states who were big bullies. Who are the Berbers? Well, the Berbers, also known as Amazics, are basically the old guards of North Africa, the national identity of some modern-day North Africans. Then, the Romans came along, and dominated the Mediterranean Sea. Some North Africans became Romanized and Christianized. Some Germanic Vandal invasions later, the Eastern Roman Empire, now known as the Byzantine Empire, recaptured most of North Africa. Then, the Umayyad Arabs came along, and made some significant inroads into Europe. This is where the North Africans became Arabized and Islamized. The Arabs looked down on the non-Arabs, and taxed the crap out of them. Unsurprisingly, the Berbers fought back, and kicked the Umayyads out of western bits of North Africa. Over the coming centuries, various dynasties came and went in North Africa, including the Fatimids, Zirids, Almoravids, and Almohads. The French-speaking Viking Normans also had a go at northern Africa, for a short while. Later, the Turks came along, and stayed for centuries, having varying degree of control over North Africa. North Africa has always been a hotbed for pirates, which really annoyed the Europeans, who occupied bits of North Africa in an attempt to beat up the pirates. Gradually, the Ottomans became weak and was being eaten alive by the Europeans. North Africa was gradually colonized, by Spain, France, Italy, and some Brits. Due to geographic proximity, lots of Europeans migrated to North Africa, making some bits of North Africa an integral part of their countries. Some cities became super internationalized, like Casablanca and Tangiers. Then, during World War II, North Africa became the battleground between these legendary tacticians. After World War II, rise of Arab nationalism, independence, mass migration of Europeans out of North Africa, Arab Spring, and here we are today. From history, North Africa has deep cultural ties with Europe in varying degree, having mutual influences on each other. Due to geographical proximity with Europe, with some parts of North Africa being more northern than southern Europe, North Africa can consider becoming more associated with the Europeans, like Morocco joining the Eurovision. So, can North Africa actually into Europe? Well, it depends on your definition of Europe. If Europe is defined by white dudes who has lots of money with some ex-colonies abroad, then North Africa is probably not European. But if Europe is defined by historical Greco-Roman and Christian influences, then some parts of North Africa may be considered European at least at some point in history. If the Muslims manage to hold on to Iberia, modern-day Spain and Portugal may not be considered European today. If the Byzantine North Africa manage to resist Arab invasions and maybe eventually form their own Greco-Romance countries, North Africa may be considered an extension of Europe today. The point here is, the definition of Europe can be subjective and ambiguous, with some underlying supremacist undertone based on religion, language, skin color, race, and wealth. In any case, North Africa will eventually be with Europe in the future, quite literally. So do the average North Africans actually care what others think? Probably not, just make sure you do not put them as the same category as the darker-skinned Africans, and do not call the Berbers as Arabs. The real question is, who is the best North African country? Well, this is really up to your preference. Morocco can provide you with this old classic movie, hash hash, mint tea, skiing, and weird sounding Arabic. Algeria is the top spot, if you like good Roman ruins, rye music, and tall stuff. Tunisia can give you tons of Carthage history for those history nerds, olive oil, and liberal Muslims. But if you really enjoy American freedom, then Libya is a good place. Algeria and Tunisia are besties. Morocco and Algeria kind of hate each other, because Western Sahara. Tunisia acts as the buffer between Algeria and Morocco. Libya is just sitting there, with its rich oil, busy being messed up by other bullies, and not fluent in French language like the other North African countries. All these North African countries love partying in Lebanon, getting tourists, beat each other in football, eating couscous, doing good trades with Europe, supply refugees to Europe, and trying its best not to get messed up by its government. Thanks for watching.